Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Where's my shovel? I said let's. Whoops, I'm destroying the hidey hole. Coming out, coming on out. Got the hidey hole from the last episode, which was recorded and published on Arbor Day. We planted 2 trees, and of course they have not grown. Let's, first of all, secure the hidey hole. Second of all, I think I had some bone meal. This works in beta 1.7.3, doesn't it? Blunk. It does. It does. Oh, this isn't going to work. Blunk. Oh, there we go. Awesome. All right. I do not need you anymore. Thank you, good sirs. So we've got our our Arbor Day hidey hole with the trees hanging out there, totally pointless and of no purpose whatsoever because we are just going to continue on. Where, you ask? To the Farlands, I respond. To the Farlands indeed. In episode 242, to be more specific. I'm just getting more and more specific and drilling down into the details. Let's just continue on. We're raising money for Child's Play charity, as you may already know, over at farlandsorbust.com. Right now, we passed 24%. We're at $24,175.39. That you can keep track of using the official Child's Play charity donation widget on the homepage of farlandsorbust.com. You can also donate using that. All of the funds go directly to Child's Play charity, and you can leave a comment that I will be able to see and a question that I will be able to probably answer in an episode of Farlands or Bust. And you'll be making kids happy because it gets them toys, books, and games in hospitals around the world. For whatever reason they might be there, it helps them be more kids and be more like kids because they are kids, and that always helps with their recovery and getting through whatever reason they might be in there. It's a good cause, great cause indeed. And we had a couple, well, quite a few. As you can see, we're past 24% already. We're trying to raise $100,000 this season, but we had a couple very generous donations, and they came with questions, so I'm going to get to those this episode as a very heartfelt thank you. I'm carrying over a stack of dirt. That's clogging up my inventory. A heartfelt thank you to those folks who are very generous with their donations. Woof! Woof indeed. Woof indeed. Ooh, that's a little tiny upside-down mountain. It's kind of funny. But yeah, continuing Farlands or Bust, like I said, this is Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. That is why I do not have a hunger bar. That is why I cannot sprint. That is why Wolfie is a little bit clumsy, because he does not have the updated wolf AI, although it would seem to reason that the wolves in the current versions of the game are not all that more what's the word I'm looking for? Careful? Knowledgeable of their surroundings? So, who knows? And who cares? Wolfie is our wolf. He's been with us since well over 200 episodes. It was episode 36, I think. I always get that wrong. I think it's episode 36 we got Wolfie, so he's along for the journey. Where was I going with that? I don't have a segue. No segue. But yeah, today's Monday, April 29th, and I was just watching on Twitter. It would seem that you might be familiar with Virgin Galactic, which is Richard Branson's company, who is planning on offering suborbital space flights. They won the Google X Prize by making the first commercial reusable suborbital spacecraft, Spaceship 1, which I think is now hanging in the Smithsonian or whatever, but they've made Spaceship 2, which is going to be their first actual spacecraft that they're going to open up for commercial tourist use, that they're actually going to offer to the public. And I was about to say, we're trying to raise $100,000 for Child's Play charity this season. A great cause indeed. That would only buy you a half a ticket on Spaceship Two on Virgin Galactic, as each ticket is going to cost, and I think there's actually a waiting list already, $200,000 US dollars. And today, April 29th, they had the first powered flight of Spaceship Two, and this is the spacecraft that gets lifted up on a jet aircraft, a very unique kind of piggyback jet aircraft. It detaches, and then it lights its rocket engines, and that's what it uses to get out of the atmosphere and at least 62 miles up, which qualifies to being in space, and then comes back down after about maybe 4 or 5 minutes of weightlessness. So suborbital, they don't get into orbit. But it had its first, they've been doing a bunch of test flights, and they've dropped it, and it glides down, and they've done test glides, I guess you could call it. But today was the first powered flight where they first fired up the rockets. And there's some video already on the YouTubes and pictures and things like that, and they didn't get into space, they're just testing it. Little incremental steps. Is incremental even a word? Making up words. Little increments of progress, I guess I could say. But they did pass the sound barrier right off the bat, so that's pretty cool. So making progress there. As you know, I'm not particularly... It's exciting, and it's always good to have space flight in the forefront of, say, the media and the public awareness, even though, to me, Virgin Galactic and this sort of suborbital space tourism... It doesn't really qualify to what I would call space flight, which would be orbital flight, like going up to the International Space Station. All of that stuff is still too expensive and is more something that... Oop, don't touch the cactus. That governments are able to afford both the risk and the cost of... even though now we're slowly shifting and giving some of those responsibilities to, say, SpaceX is going to try to, I think by 2017, test their Dragon capsule for man-rated flights so that they could start ferrying human cargo, astronauts, back and forth between the International Space Station. The Spaceship One, Virgin Galactic, is not in the least... possible to get into orbit, or able to get into orbit, rather. So, but it's still exciting. It's still a step in the right direction. If this is successful, and if somehow Virgin Galactic is profitable, maybe they can turn around and then develop further and further, and then maybe they could start thinking about orbital flights. I hope that they don't just stop at this, be like, oh, we're profitable, let's just keep making money doing this. You hope for innovation and stuff like that, but there's, as far as the tourism part goes, there's not too much motivation for that. It's... What am I making here? A boat. It's kind of one of the reasons, look at... Whoa, Wolfie! Look at, this is like a terrible analogy. I'm sure it's possible to totally blow this analogy out of the water. But look at, like, school buses. How much innovation has there been in school buses lately? Not much, because they're doing the job they require. They get kids to and from school or whatever else simple from point A to point B. There's no need to improve school bus efficiency. Well, I guess there's a little bit of improvement there, but it's serving its purpose. So if Virgin Galactic, if its purpose is just to get tourists to and from suborbital flight for 4 minutes of weightlessness, and they're making money doing that, why would they ever want to then turn around and then hedge all of their bets into something that might not work in the future? So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I hope for success there. If you ask me if I had $200,000 to just spend willy-nilly, I probably would not. But my boat's going to the far lands without me. I probably would not. I would find much greater things to use that for, whether or not it be for being able to be... Wolfie's stuck. To be independent on my own or be able to help out charities or certain causes or things like that. But I'm not harking on the people who are going to pay $200,000 to do that. But, either way, April 29th, first powered flight of Spaceship Two. And it went supersonic. Kablamo! That was my failed attempt at a sonic boom. Let's go to sleep. And a sonic boomness. Right, Wolfie? Woof? Yes, there we go. I know it's completely random as far as the way the game works, but when you're interacting with, even if, a pig or something like that, or any of the other animals in Minecraft, you're having a conversation with them, you pause, and then they look up at you like, what? It's easy to what is the word? Anthropomorphize? Wow. Failure of my vocal cords right there. That thing. It's easy to apply human characteristics to a three-dimensional representation of a dog in a video game. Anthropomorphize. I don't even know what that word is. I can't even say it. Sorry. Kurt fails at basic communication 101. Right here. Farlands a bust. Indeed. So we're back. Still going. No, I'm just gonna answer these questions. There's actually these might actually spark off quite a bit of discussion on my part. So this one's a pretty lengthy one. So let me try to get into an area where I can properly take my eyes off the screen for a significant amount of time. Don't punch Wolfie. Perhaps I should hop on a boat to do that. That's probably the best plan of action. But anyway, here it goes. Hey Kurt, a few years ago I decided to follow my dreams and pursue a career as a professional musician. Congratulations! I quit the college I was at and went to study music. Now I'm in the final year of my music degree, but I am worried that making my hobby, the thing that I love to do most, into a job will diminish my enjoyment of it. Did you have any worries like that when gaming and YouTubing? About gaming and YouTubing? Do you enjoy gaming as much as you did? Or has making it work, turning it into work, rather, made it less fun? Thanks, Kurt. From Ewan H. Thank you very much for your generous donation to Child's Play charity, first of all, Ewan. And to answer your question, I am a bit of a strange and unusual human being. To answer your question, no, before I started doing YouTube, and Minecraft YouTube, even just as a hobby, I said I just started it for a hobby. It looked like fun, like most people start doing either gaming YouTube or vloggy YouTube or whatever, unboxing review YouTube, whatever they want to do. It looks like fun. It looks like they're, something that, I might be good at that and it might be enjoyable, so let me try it. Before that, I really didn't play video games all that much. After college, gaming just kind of evaporated into the ether for me. Part of that was just, after college, I was, like yourself, a little bit lost, I suppose you could say. I didn't have many, if any, dreams to follow. I just found myself in a job, day to day, in and out, and that's all that there was. I kind of, after college, when I was into, the first Call of Duties, and like I said, I had PlayStation and PlayStation 2, I would play those games and the Tomb Raider games. I was never, after that, I just kind of stopped. Never got any further consoles, really didn't bother to build a fantastic gaming rig. I just, had from college my old Dell computer that I bought on the internet, and that was my computer. I was living at home for a while, and we didn't have internet at home, so I suppose part of that was I wasn't exposed to the gaming community or any of the current gaming events. I should grab some wool. I think I said that at the end of the last episode. So to be honest, and why I might not be a I might not be a particularly standard case, I can assume a lot of people who do gaming YouTube now are and have been gamers for a long time. And that's perhaps why they play a different variety of games, or they have fancy gamer tags that I never had, which is why I'm just KurtJMac. You know, they have entire libraries, Steam libraries of hundreds of games that they've accumulated over the years. I have like 12. And all of which I purchased after starting doing YouTube, and I've recorded YouTube videos in. So I'm a bit of a strange case. So if anything, I could say getting into YouTube has gotten me more into gaming and doing gaming YouTube. Whether or not it's more fun or not, there are certainly pluses and minuses. And I remember, for those of you who also watched BOO, when he was about the same time as me, going back and forth about, well, I could do this full time if I have the support, but I'm not sure. And I remember distinctly in one of his videos said he's worried about turning this hobby of his into a job, and then it becoming not fun anymore, and then that being a downward spiral of then it not working out. That's a worry, of course, but I think I don't know where that floating block of dirt with grass on top, about 2 pixels off of the water. Whoa, sorry, easily amused. I don't know that should be much of a worry, to be honest, for you. Uh-oh, did I travel too far without Wolfie spawning? Wolfie? Hello? Hello? Uh-oh, I might have... No, there he is. Awesome. This is a pretty significant piece of land, or ocean we're traveling through. Through the fjord here. Fjord. Buck, buck, buck. So yeah, it's... I mean, if anything, it almost seems like it's a myth. I don't know who's perpetrating it or where it's coming from, but it's like a myth that you shouldn't turn your hobbies into a full-time job. I certainly wouldn't suggest making the money aspect of it. If you turn... Here, I guess, is my idea. If you turn, like, say, if I switched, okay, now I'm a full-time YouTuber, I must make as much money as I possibly can. You know, instead of having fun making YouTube videos, if I swapped my priorities and turned making money into my top priority, then I could see where that becomes a problem. Same goes with making music. If you just start... I'm not sure what kind of music you're particularly making, Ewan, or whatever, but if you just are concerned about booking as many gigs as you possibly can, not particularly booking the gigs with people you enjoy, or at venues you enjoy, or for purposes you enjoy, or if you're recording music just for commercial reasons and not necessarily for your own artistic, you know, the sort of music you would make if it was just your hobby, then I could see where that flip-flop happens and people could have some problems. But if you just keep it about enjoying your hobby, and the money and being able to live off of it is a nice, pleasant side effect of that, then I don't see any problem with that. So no, like I said, I was a little bit of a weird case in that I became actually more involved in my hobby, gaming, than I did prior to deciding to make it my full-time situation. But yeah, I mean, I would certainly not discourage you from at least trying it out. You should always, like I said, always be, if that's something you're worried about, then it's definitely something on, I don't want to go down there, thank you. Then it's definitely something that is on your mind, and I think you should be safe in that you'll be careful enough with the decisions you make not to turn your hobby into your job and then lose enjoyment from it. Does that make sense? In observing the problem, you have changed the outcome, is basically what I'm saying. It's quantum career advice. So yeah, I think did that make sense? I suppose, I don't ask you guys enough questions. I ask you guys to ask me questions, but perhaps in the comments below, If you'd like to, perhaps either if you have yourself turned your hobby into your career, tell us what that is, and if it is a good or bad thing for you. Or maybe if you have a hobby that you wish you could turn into a career, let us know what that would be too. And of course, there's always the argument, people say, oh, if everybody just did what they loved or their hobbies for a career, then we wouldn't have any garbage men, or we wouldn't have any teachers, or we wouldn't blah, 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 blah. I don't know. You'd be surprised. There are a lot of people on this planet. 7 billion plus to be exact. And we're all different. We're all wired slightly differently in our own special ways. So I wouldn't put it beyond anybody to have an interest in being a job that maybe somebody else wouldn't want to be, say garbage collector or policeman. You know, like, why, to me, why would anybody want to be a policeman? That seems very dangerous, but you know, me being socially inept, I do not want to deal with people, but if you're a policeman, you're dealing with people in sometimes the most intense moments of their lives, so, but there's a lot of people who want to be a policeman because that's something that they want to do. So, little of this, little of that, some prose from Kurt, not prose like pros and cons, but prose, P-R-O-S-E, poetry, if you will. But before we get killed, let's go to sleep. And career satisfactionsness. What is your hobby, Wolfie? Killing sheeps? Possibly. Nope, possibly not. Let's continue on. So yeah, thanks once again, Ewan, for the donation and also that question. Another very generous donation into Child's Play charity at farlandsorbust.com. Look at this place. Was from somebody whose nickname is Cookie. Would you like a cookie? Cookie. Sorry. Cookie is a weird word, is it not? Anyway, Cookie, first of all, says, I have decided to donate my 2012 tax return, state tax refund, to the Child's Play charity. Thank you. That is very generous of you. A question I have is, what types of expenses must you pay when living in a condo, and how are they different from living in a house or an apartment? Yes, I am in a condo. Not that... the big one is an association fee, which is... Yeah, exactly, sheep. Exactly. I'm going to shear your wool for agreeing with me. Up. There we go. This sheep agrees with me. Association fees. Basically, I mean, it good and bad. The insurance, much like an apartment, is a lot cheaper because somebody else owns the actual building that surrounds you. So you don't have to pay insurance on that. Of course, you could say then that is rolled into your association fee, obviously. So it's give or take. I don't know. I mean, you don't own land, so there's no actual, like, ooh, what is going on over here? There's a fire party going on. You don't own the land. I don't know, and I've never looked into owning or renting a house. I've only previously lived in another place that was, no, it wasn't an apartment, it was another condo. I would recommend, if you're looking for an apartment, you should look, I tried looking at all those, I don't know, depending on where you live, there might be these kind of corporate apartment complexes that are corporately owned, and they're just kind of these big places, and you're dealing with a company, and I would recommend, if you are in a location and you're looking for an apartment, try checking like the Craigslist or the classifieds and look for just an independent person who's renting out their condo. That has worked, obviously, moderately well for myself. Depending on what sort of fees they can handle versus what you can handle, and And as long as you could find somebody that is trustworthy and can give you kind of individual attention, I would recommend that. Over signing a contract with one of these corporate apartment complex ownerships. Wolfie agrees. That has the Wolfie seal of approval. Bing! Yeah, it's hard for me to say because I don't have experience in all of that stuff. So yeah, thanks for the very, once again, generous donation to Child's Play Charity at farlandsabuzz.com. And also your question. I've got another question from Smoot.Smoot. Another donator. 2 questions. Would you consider doing some mind crack? I think you mean mind crack. Kurt fan meetup when you visit Seattle in August. Yes, for PAX Prime. And like I think I mentioned, perhaps I mentioned it in the mind crack episode, but being as far as we know right now, I can't remember if anybody else has made an announcement, but as far as we know right now, Good and Pause are going, and they are extremely experienced in doing, they went to PAX East, they went to PlayOnCon, they do DragonCon. They're much more experienced with the convention situation, and I'm going to work with them, but also defer to them their expertise on when to set up fan meetups, whether or not they be Mindcrack or KurtJMac, Far Lands or Bust meetups. Of course, they can be one and the same, and it would probably be preferable for them to be that. So I'll let you know as we get closer. I've gotten some questions on Twitter and stuff. Oh, are you gonna let us know where you're at, and are you gonna be able to tweet and let us know your location and in the in the convention and blah blah blah? Yeah, I'll get to that. It's still a ways away, in my opinion, so we have plenty of time. But I'm not just gonna go and not tell anybody. Oh, hey, I was at PAX. Let me show you some pictures. No, you're gonna know about that once we get closer to that. So yeah, I'll defer to them, but we'll all work together and figure stuff out. Number 2 question: do you have an OCD? I didn't know that an OCD was something that you could possess. Like, it's an item? An object? I think what Smoot means is, do you have something you're particularly obsessive-compulsive over? And if so, what? Little things. I know one of my major things is I don't bake or cook. Well, I guess I do. I need to feed myself. But when I'm over at somebody else's house and they're cooking, and say they're like following instructions for something that they're making, either they got on the internet or the back of a box or whatever, a recipe, I'm very adamant about following directions like to a T. Whereas like some people might guess the amounts they put in something, or they'll like not, they'll just not follow the instructions word for word. I'll be like, no, it says to do this. Obviously, if I'm the one helping them out, if they're just doing it on their own, whatever. Do whatever you want. But I'm kind of a little bit OCD when it comes to that sort of thing. And I get extraordinarily frustrated at myself if I like miss a step or an ingredient in a recipe or something I'm making, and I'm just like I almost, depending on what stage of the food preparation process I'm in, I could just throw my hands up and give up and say screw it, make it scrambled eggs instead or something like that. So I suppose that's kind of a weird thing to be OCD about. I'm not really too organized, I don't think, in my own life. Just looking around my office in shambles, little strips of paper and receipts and old coupons that have expired all over my desk, and just kind of weird, because I think I just come in here and go on my computer and whatever is not within the direct view of my computer monitors is just becomes a tossing ground for junk of all sorts. So yeah, I don't yeah, I think that answers your question about that. And the last question: are you an audiophile? No, I took a few classes in college for digital audio art and processing and stuff like that. But I suppose what you would consider an audiophile would be somebody who has a big, expensive, receiver setup and, ooh, this looks like it's gonna collapse. Maybe not. And like very expensive, specialized monitors or speakers or things like that. I do care about audio quality. Oh, that's another thing I'm probably OCD about is like television. If you're not getting like the most resolution or the proper aspect ratio, nothing angers me more than being at somebody's house or like at a restaurant or bar, which I rarely ever go to, and like the TVs, they're all widescreen flat panel TVs, but the feed or the video isn't coming through at the right aspect ratio, or it's not high def and it's all grainy and gross. That is something that just like makes me like want to start. Okay, where's your remotes? I need to fix this for you. That gets on my nerves, and to an extent, I guess the audio as well, associated with entertainment, media, home entertainment systems. But I'm not like I have a pair of old computer speakers hooked up to my TV, and I rarely ever turn them on because I'm not really. Ooh, that's lava. Because I'm not really ever, like, watching big, epic movies that require surround sound, Dolby Digital, blah, 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 6.1, in your face, plug it in your ears, music, sound, all day, every day. I don't know where I'm going with that, but, so, yes, no, I did purchase the headphones I'm using are very nice. What are they? AKG? Is that right? Is that the... Hold on, I'm looking at the box. Yeah, AKG headphones. Because nothing... To be a little bit more... I get a little bit more ticked off if I do spend a lot of money on something that I think is going to be high quality and it's not. So these I know were, indeed, based on reviews and things like that, going to be high quality. So I purchased them regardless of whether or not for recording video games and editing video of those video games, they would be completely a necessary thing. You alright there, Wolfie? Alright, sun's setting. Whoa, really quickly. That's actually pretty well into nighttime. Let's build the final hidey hole of the episode. Thank you very much to everybody who donated, first of all, to Child's Play Charity. I appreciate it. Oh, it's dark. And you can keep doing that, as I've said, over at farlandsorbust.com. Almost at 25%. I have ideas, something to do for 25%. I know I haven't really been keeping up with too many milestone situations. I know we did the Jason Statham initiative, which we did very well at, and I still have the Jason Statham buzz cut. Get a buzz cut! It's very comfortable indeed. Oh, that ain't gonna work. Whoop. All right. Let's try to do this reasonably. Okay. Yeah, that worked. Got 3 beds. That was before the new year. If I said we could raise $10,000 before the end of 2012, I would get a buzz cut, and I did such a thing, and I uploaded a very goofy video of me doing such a thing, and so I'm thinking of something, it might be a little bit secrets, that I'll do for when we reach 25%. We're almost there. We're at 24,175. So keep donating to find out what that 25% thingamajig might be, which I may or may not have decided yet. But yeah, thanks again. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.